to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We'll call our meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Take a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. Good morning, Rich.
Morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Not a lot this morning to discuss. Working on the annual report to get finished up here. I'm gonna have to get with Jackie again. I got a balance that's not working out, but I'm really close. Project updates, and I can give you guys an update next week on the final annual report. I should have it all ironed out by then. I can explain to you guys what's going on with the dollars and cents. Projects wise, the paving's been done from Grafton, obviously from Grafton to the county line. South of Manly over to 65 is completed. Fertile is paved. They still got some painting to do and some shoulder work to do. They won't do the shoulder work or they won't do painting until shoulder work is done there. And then the bridge project on 342nd, they ran into a snag. I guess seems like a month ago now, where the railing bolts didn't line up with the brackets that they had. So we were going through some re-engineering and some calculation checks to make sure that the contractor's plan to modify the brackets was going to be suitable for the bridge. So that one's been kind of laying idle for quite some time, but they've got everything approved now. So they'll be modifying the bracket bolts, the bolt holes in the brackets, so that they can mount that railing up there on the bridge. And then I think most of everything else is pretty close out there as far as being complete. The railing's not done, so the contractors, everything's been backfilled and whatnot, but they just got to tidy up some things once they get the railing put on. So other than that, I know the crew's out working on work orders and whatnot. A lot of ditch cleaning going on. So we're just kind of, I hate to say it, but we're getting prepped up for fall and making sure we're getting our culvert work orders and stuff going through and going from there. Any questions you guys have for me?
Are they getting up there to get that one done for Mike Gaskell?
Yeah, we've got. I know. Russ put some eyes on it last week, and we've got a plan put together. Just a matter of timing when we get the excavator and the material up there. But they've looked at it.
Okay, appreciate that.
Vine 105 looks really good.
Yeah,
Yep.
good.
They've got to.
Looks like
They've got to finish some things down there yet. We rented a skid loader to try to get underneath and get some more of that riprap underneath there, but the skid loader broke down right after we rented it. So they moved on to other things, but I think for the most part, once we get the riprap and start the other rock down there underneath the bridge and get things smoothed out, then we'll get Mike out there and we'll hydroseed that, and then it'll be finished up. So
cool.
Yeah, I think it looks really good. They did a good job on it.
Yeah, it looks like it'll work really good.
And it reduced the amount of pipe to bury. I think they got everything, water to flow the right way. And then, when it does flood out there, all the water will recess back to that original intake. So it doesn't hold water in that field anymore. So.
Correct.
We're talking about a skid loader, Rich. Have you ever thought about owning your own skid loader with tracks and then having a brush cutter? And
Yeah, we've kind of discussed that a little bit. Yeah. And I know, we've always tried to use conservations. I know that they don't always get they don't use theirs every day. And the reason we were going to borrow theirs, the reason we didn't was because they got an air conditioning unit up on top and it wouldn't fit underneath that bridge. So we had to go rent one.
Right, they got a wheel machine though, don't they?
Pardon me?
They have a wheel machine, not a track machine.
Yeah, they do have a wheel machine, not a track machine. And we've been talking about that too, whether we'd get a lot of use out of it. We probably would. Probably be a little bit more handy for us.
I think you could. I mean, it'd be a lot safer for using for brush cutting in the ditch than a tractor.
Yeah. It'd probably be a little bit more handy too, just to get down in there and get some things. So something we can look at with our equipment this coming year too. So
nice. Yeah.
Yep. We'll definitely take a look at it.
All right. Anything else, Rich? Okay, we're all good. Thanks, Rich.
All right. Well, I'll stick around.
Yep.
Thanks.
Any drainage today, Jackie?
Just the assessments for 2020.
All right. 2020 drainage assessments.
Well, this assessment is for like,
Everything everything we've been doing.
Well, not everything, but what I had time to get
Okay.
in the system, not the reclassified ones,
Okay.
just
Just work has been.
the, yeah, regular work. There's like 10, 15 of them there.
Yeah.
that-
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Just motion to approve the
second,
assessment.
Okay, motion and a second to approve drainage assessments. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
aye,
Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry.
I'll keep going on, see more probably.
Good.
Sure look, see if I'm on there.
Any claims?
But yours double.
I bet it did.
Yeah, I got one claim. Had a DNR for Chris.
Oh, wastewater.
Yeah.
Wastewater fee of some sort to the DNR for $85.
so moved,
I'll second it.
Motion and a second to approve the claim of the DNR. All in favor, aye?
aye,
Opposed? Motion will carry. All right, with Betco, what's on there? So you're on their letter of support for Homeward Housing Trust Fund.
This is the municipality you already approved.
Yeah.
The, $5,000, you're just gonna give me permission to sign this letter saying that, yeah, I give you $5,000.
Okay.
I so moved,
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the letter of support for the Homeward Housing Trust Fund. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
aye,
Opposed? That motion will carry. Jason Petersburg, good morning.
Morning. Not a lot to update on the subdivision this week. Cole Excavating did make it back on site towards the end of last week and got started with backfilling curbs. Planning to be there all week this week and possibly 1 or 2 days into next week, get things cleaned up, all the curbs backfilled, all the touch-up grading work done. And as soon as that work is complete, we're going to have them seed, 90% of the site or so, just skip the area where the private utilities have to go in. Get everything stabilized. After utilities go in, we'll get the rest of it seeded and pretty close to done.
Perfect.
good,
Sounds good. Do you have to be there Friday? Are you coming Friday or?
Either I will be there or Patrick will be there.
Okay.
So,
All right, we've got to meet with DNR Friday for our stormwater detention stuff permit we did.
Oh,
They
okay.
just want to look the site over and everything. So I'd talk to Jason on Friday as well, see if they need to be there or not. So,
You'll be
but I'll be there at 9. What'd she say? 9 or 9:30? Remember?
I think you told me 9 is what I put in my calendar.
I don't know. I
there.
don't
Either
remember.
8:30 to be safe, AJ.
Yeah. It's either 9 or 9:30. I'll be there by 9. So if I'm staying around for a half hour, then that's not a big deal. But all right. And another question. We were talking about this development. You ever seen out there? I probably doubt it, but we're talking about doing maybe an RFP to buy the whole works. Does that seem like a decent idea? You seen that anywhere?
Never seen it, but it's probably been done before.
Okay. That's what we're just thinking is try to go that route, maybe throw it out to see if we can find a nationwide kind of development or, the big commercial realtor chain or something like that and see if we just can't get rid of this whole thing.
Okay. So we have not approved and recorded the final plat yet. I was waiting until the improvements were completed, and then at that time we'll do that. So
okay,
All right.
probably another month or so, we'll get that done. Then there'll be lots for sale or lots that could be sold.
Then you officially have to get the ground from the casino yet too.
Has that been done?
That's been
Recorded
done.
yet?
that's been done.
think it'd be deep.
Yeah, that was done. That's why, because Jason could get started before he got all that done.
It's all been recorded.
Hopefully, yeah.
That's over.
I hope. If not, we've built there.
We just gotta go, yeah, okay.
No, I appreciate it's all recorded.
Yeah, it should be.
That's all done.
All right, anything else for Jason? All right, thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
All right. Top of Iowa Trail Committee, presentation and questions regarding funding for trail maintenance and ownership on the proposed Worth County trail system. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, gentlemen and ladies?
Good.
Good. So I've got just a real quick summary of what's going on here. And then I also have what we've got going on. Basically, our committee has met for a number of years trying to get things up and going. Last year, we had the ISU Rising Star interns sort of come and just sort of infuse a little bit more enthusiasm into our trail committee. And they have helped tremendously with identifying some steps that we need to go through and so forth. So they identified that the biggest support that we have just to get a trail started in Worth County is between Fertile and Hamlintown. And so we've had a committee go down, talk to the landowners down in that area, just trying to see, okay, what areas can we go with, who is opposed, who's not, and so forth. Most of the landowners are in favor of a trail between Fertile and Hamlintown. And so next step was, okay, is it feasible? Can we get it done? We wrote a grant, got some engineering grant fees. We contracted with Vinstra and Kim. They came up with 5 different proposed trail routes that we could go through. At our last meeting at our trail committee, we identified 2 of them that we would like to pursue. So our next step is basically, when this is all said and done, if who's going to be the owner of it and who's going to maintain the trail are the 2 things that we need to put any more grant funding together to get funds for the trail. We have looked at forming our own 501(c), but that's just a lot of hoops that we'd have to jump through, so forth. And most counties, the conservation, or the county owns the trail, the conservation maintains it. So that's what our ask is, if you, when we get it all said and done, if you would take ownership of it, do the liability insurance portion of it, and then also provide funds for maintenance of the trail. I know that this is probably going to still be 2 to 3 years out before this gets completed. If we go with this and we have your permission to go ahead and go with this. So we know that there's some TIF funds that are coming online. I sort of was running the numbers this morning of just labor portion of it. Labor portion is anywhere from about $3,500 to about $7,000. I'm thinking about an hour a week per mile that we would have to, and then that's just calculating in my head. Yes, there's equipment and so forth. There's a Hamlintown has equipment that will work on and clean that trail, and they're willing to use that equipment. It's just providing labor as of right now. That's just a small portion. 20 years, who knows if we're going to get all the communities connected. We're going to have to sort of go step by step for this. Mm-hmm. So basically what we're doing right now is just asking if you would take ownership of it when we're done, and if you would provide some maintenance when we're completed, maintenance dollars for the trail.
Okay.
Any questions?
Jim Hanson's on here.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, have you guys, conservation end, talked about this much? I know you've been involved with some of it. If we did go forward with this, is something you guys can handle and maintain, or don't nothing to do with it? What are you guys thinking?
With our current staff, it would be very hard to add this in. I mean, we'd be looking at an additional person, because it's not, the labor itself might only be an hour to an hour and a half each day, but you're 30 minutes from our office as well. So I mean, you're dedicating an employee a quarter of the day to go down there to clean the trail. So I mean, realistically, we couldn't probably do it with our staff. You know, we just keep slipping farther and farther behind. But
Yep. What's your board's opinion on maintaining or taking ownership of it?
with existing staff, that's their feeling as well, that we would need additional staff and money to do it.
Okay.
I mean, you guys know that we run a pretty tight budget regardless, and to build something brand new like this we'd be asking for more money.
Sure. More money basically for more manpower.
Yeah.
Are the cities gonna help at all?
Well, that's as of now, the first two, yeah.
Yeah,
the way
as
it
of now,
sounds,
the first
right?
two are willing to help. Yeah.
Well, yeah, well, with equipment wise, but are they
They're from what
looking to
I
commit any
understand,
monies that you know of, or?
They're basically not really committing monies, but they're committing manpower, you know, to help. They're maintenance people in their cities
Sure.
to run the equipment.
Between Fertile and Hamlet.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would hope, you know, what the concern was is we've talked about the committees if we did have flooding or whatever.
Mhm.
You know, I would assume enthusiasms for the trail, we would come out and help clean the trails and stuff. If that was a necessary deal, you know, that wouldn't. I would hope that would happen no matter where the trail system is, as it expands. You know, you see that throughout the state when things happen usually.
Yeah,
People that are
volunteers
using
will
it.
go out with,
Yeah.
you know, and
Will help with the
With it.
major stuff.
Right.
So.
And we've met with the conservation board a couple of times, you know, over the last several years, and that's always been a concern is maintenance, funding and that kind of thing. So we just kind of want to get that set up front. So as we go forward, we have something to build on.
Sure. And that's what I've noticed a lot too, is it seems to be around here these days, it's easy to get some grant monies, but it's just that maintenance expense when the things are built, that's where it's kind of
Well,
taken on the
sure.
chin, you know,
Yeah.
and that's where people forget that this is what it takes to keep it up,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's it. I said, you know, you see some very well-maintained trails, you see ones that aren't quite as well-maintained, and some you're like, okay, what can we do to alleviate some of the maintenance on it? Engineering it right will help with some of the maintenance on it. It'd be basically mowing and making sure the debris is staying off the trail. We're hoping at this point in time. It just sort of depends on which way we can go from point A to point B.
Sure.
So.
Sure.
And Jason's doing this feasibility study, and he really needs to know to complete his study, you know, who's going to own the trail, who's going to maintain it. Because when you apply for a grant, you have to have dedicated maintenance. You have to have a document that says, hey, we're going to maintain this for 20 years. Here's our funding that we're going to put towards it. So, so we were wondering in long term if we can dedicate some of the TIF funds towards that, you know.
Right. Which we haven't. Yeah.
Would they get into that at all?
Yeah, that's
that's
still,
why we're trying to get the carpet.
Yeah,
You know,
that's still out there.
yeah.
Well, in between roads and bridges and the courthouse,
Yeah.
there's a lot of projects popping up already.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's something we've got to get going on too, because I think it's supposedly this fall they're coming online, so we kind of got to have our ducks in a row going that way. If we are going to use those funds, but
Yeah, where those funds are going to go.
that's right.
So how many dollars you looking at?
Well, basically, like I said, for the maintenance portion of it, you know, I was just looking at the labor portion of it, you know, and I said, you know, maybe you can, so there's this range, and it just depends on, again, what's happening out there. So just the labor portion would be like about 3,500 to 7,500 in that range, depending on what's going on. Yeah.
So total, and then the total projected cost of the project was what again?
Oh, total projected cost of the project between the two are like 2.6 million on one. The other one was a little bit less just because it was going alongside.
Where's the funding for that coming from?
We're gonna work on
We'll
getting
have to go
grants.
find it.
You are gonna find it.
Okay.
We're not gonna put any burden on the county on construction funds on it.
But we really want to back up the Conservation Commission. They got to have the resources to be able to maintain it, you know, like Mark says, if it washes out or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Did one of the plans we ended up picking end up running along the conservation ground, or we didn't go that route? Does it?
Well, it basically runs, yes, it does run around the, does it?
I can't remember which ones we picked.
Next
I've
to
got
it.
notes.
Next to it, right
Yeah.
next to it, will be like the fence line.
So our initial thought was go across that county land, but since that was purchased with federal funds, it's not allowed. So we have to run adjacent to it. The other challenge is that the quarry has a lot of land tied up with leases out there. So we've got some potential ideas, but we do have some headwind too.
Okay.
I guess, I mean, I look long-term if this does come to, if it can happen long-term.
Right.
I mean, I think eventually some of the goals are to connect to county parks and things like that,
Right.
you know, if possible. And, you know, the trails I've ridden on in the state are bad. I've never been on a system like that. You know, they've been either around cities or in areas and things like that. But long-term, it's a pretty good goal. And if it does, you know, if we can make it work long-term, I would hope conservation will be part of that process. Along with the cities, I think the cities should, you know, it shouldn't just be a county-based county conservation. I would like to see cities involved and stuff too, because I think most of the towns, the trails will, it's going to connect the towns too. And I think the towns need to look at putting trails around their town for their people, not just between the towns. I mean, I think you know, there's a lot of things they can look at down the road, but, and still the question remain in my mind is we're talking, you know, your mission statement is, or our mission statements is, it's a multi-use trail. And I think the projections are we were looking at paved trails, and I'm just not sure how that's going to play on a multi-use trail for people that want to ride their horses, people that want to, you know, are we going to want to just stay with a hardback type of trail system if that, and that's a lot less dollars.
Yeah.
Now maybe maintenance is more, I don't know, but you know.
And that's a, you know, and I was, you know, alluding to that is possibly if we can get the easements to do a little bit wider trail, have a paved portion, and then have another 10 foot that you can ride your snowmobile, your horses, whatever on, to sort of keep that pavement from.
Because I think if you can open it up for multi-use types of trails, there is more funding available. It's other sources. I know.
You know, if you go 50 feet of easement or you go 75 feet of easement, it's not going to cost you that much more.
No.
You know, type of thing. And then that gives you that multi-use type of thing going on. If you want the snowmobile, you want the horses, you want ATVs, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the long-term goal would be to connect to the other counties. We got Pilot Knob, we got Cerro Gordo, you know, that kind of thing. So it's just kind of a starting point to get our feet wet on a short 3 to 4 mile trail.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we want
Bite
to
off as much as we can chew at it right now.
Right.
we want to lay the proper foundation, you know, so we have something set going forward.
So, yeah, I mean, we probably have to answer that question. I mean, I know the ordinance addressed it a little bit, but whether we can use TIF funds for maintenance, I think we need to make sure we get clarifications on that before we would commit to that. But,
That would be bond council.
right, and hopefully we are gonna have some discussions with them yet this fall, if possible, right?
Hope so.
We're hoping.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how soon, but
Who's that with? I missed that.
the bond council, you know, people we do work with,
He's the attorney that knows everything about
Yep.
it.
he can give us the directions on, hopefully give us directions on, I mean, there's always some fine lines and some of these things for us, but
And that's it. So that's what we thought. Well, if there's any room that you can maneuver some funds into that.
I mean, I guess, you know, just personally speak for myself, I think long-term, I think it's a good goal. I mean, you know, county conservation is a good goal, and I think the two of them can go together some way or another. We just have to make sure we can fund things before we commit to that.
Yeah.
And without burdening the taxpayers, I guess to say. I mean, I understand TIF funds are taxpayer dollars too.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
You have a little bit more leeway with where those funds can go to.
so, but I do think people that want to ride bikes and horses and walk and run and that all goes hand in hand with being out in conservation and out in the environment. And I think long term it can help the county.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, as far as I'm concerned, we'll definitely take it in consideration. You know, we got this doesn't seem like it. We're going to be starting budget stuff before we know it.
Right.
And what else is going on? So,
And like I said, we have some room because this is gonna take some process by the time we get the funds in place and so forth. Of, ramping up those funds if they're available. If we can get that done. This isn't gonna happen tomorrow. It's not gonna happen
Yeah.
next year. It's gonna be, how much I wanna get in gear and get grants coming
True.
for the trail.
yeah. And I mean, as far as, like you say, is us deciding on taking ownership, I'll leave it up to these guys. My opinion is just to hold off on it because we still got to figure out, like I said, we got to figure out what our projects are going to be if we start using these tip dollars and what, we've got a bunch of things that are out there.
Right.
But we got to find the money,
Mhm.
and if Jim's going to come to us and want another employee, then we got to find money for that too. So that's my opinion on it. I don't know what you guys think as far as now, but
Just still has to work.
Going forward, when could we reasonably have some kind of an idea or decision so that Jason Petersburg can complete his feasibility study? I understand these things take time, but if we can just set some kind of a guideline for a deadline or.
So right now, we don't have anything lined up for meeting with the councils or anything.
No, I haven't had time.
yeah.
No, I understand. I understand. I know we've talked about it. We need to.
And do you guys want me to set something up for like September or October so we can start meeting? Because
I would like.
Joe's gonna be gone before
Right.
we know it.
Because we need to get, on our end, we need to get the ball rolling on that stuff at some point soon, and it'd be easier. Joe's easy to work with and knows what's going on, so it'd be good to
And
do a lot of it with him around.
you can transition us to the new person probably.
Yeah. Right.
As I say, I had them do an original projection, but that was a year ago before they added the other 17 turbines down here. So
Sure.
it's gonna be quite a bit more.
Yeah.
We wanna look at the big picture. Rich is supposed to be working on stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the background here. We're planning on using those tip dollars. We're hoping to use those tip dollars,
Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
And, we wanna look at how that would, what portion of that would play into.
Trying to squeeze that in your budget.
Right, I understand.
Yeah.
So,
I
anyway.
would think over the big picture, it wouldn't be that hard to add in, you got the money somewhere else for the trail, to add in $7,000 of TIF into Jim's budget if that,
For
to help with
20,
it.
for 20 years or what? I mean, is that
Yeah,
what you're looking at?
however that would,
And that's it. I said, it's not like this huge chunk because for equipment and so forth, there's funds out there
Yeah, right.
to get the equipment. And it would be just the manpower
Mhm.
that we're really looking at, type of thing. And then we're going to have to figure out if there is a major event, how can we get that
how we
handled?
can handle that.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Because eventually it's going to happen somewhere along
So,
the way.
So we're mid-August now. How about first part of November? We can maybe just
Giving-
come back, look at it again, see where
we're at.
we're looking on our end,
Sure.
and then go from there. Does that
That
seem fair to you guys?
Seems fair.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Okay,
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
thank
for
you.
coming in.
Mhm.
See you, Mike.
See ya. Yeah, take care.
So we got a meeting at 10:30 with Peter Hill. Okay.
Can roll through some reports.
Any reports?
Clerk report and sheriff, I think.
Money in clerk court, $1,024, and sheriff about $4,500.
Motion to approve the reports.
Second.
Motion and second to approve reports. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry.
Dan has longevity and a new part-timer.
Okay. Longevity increase for Ricky Anderson, and then payroll eligibility for Jake Lee in the sheriff's office.
Make a motion to approve
Second.
payroll eligibilities.
Motion to approve. And a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. Just sign the bottom of this one. Fireworks? Nope. Department heads. Anybody out there? Questions, concerns?
Briefly, I guess, I'm in the middle of trying to hire some people to get back into secondary roads, and did some interviewing a week ago. And I had forgotten to give the interviewee a sheet of paper to fill out. Contacted that individual last week and pretty much said we're not competitive with what our wage scale is, and probably more importantly, the insurance part was what was really turning them off. So I know we've talked about it before, and I'm not trying to open up a can of worms, but it seems like, I don't know if it's been here before, whether I've lost somebody based on insurance or not, but we do have some high rates, and just wanted to let you guys know where we're at. We just aren't competitive with our insurance rates, I think, with other places.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's where I know we've been trying to make changes and get it cheaper, but
What other places are we not competitive with? That I just get tired of hearing we're not competitive.
Yeah.
Why are we not? I think having your health insurance paid for is
It's
a
a
good
hell of a
benefit.
deal.
You're right.
Yeah.
I think what they're talking about is family policy, isn't he, Rich?
And we're
Yeah,
not hiring- we're
I'm
not
pretty
hiring-
sure that
I know.
I'm pretty sure that's probably where it's at too. And I guess I get the opportunity to look at both sides, where I get to look at Mitchell County's offerings and Worth County's offerings, and I know in Mitchell County too, they're paying for single coverage too, but their family policies are just cheaper. And I know they've got a different setup there too. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I think that the family side was what maybe where they're at, where that individual's at, and I don't want to give out any information on where this person came from, but where they're at, their insurance is a lot better. And so, it basically was kind of a turnoff for them to try to come over here.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I understand that.
And yeah, I don't know what the answer is either. I don't. I just wanted to let, like I said, I don't know if, like I said, I know twice now I've been, offered a position to somebody and they've turned it down based on insurance. And I don't know if it's been once here and once in Mitchell County. I mean, health insurance is expensive all around, and I get that, but I'm finding qualified people are finding they're harder to come by. And if I'm losing them based on health insurance, that's kind of a tough pill to swallow, but it is what it is, I guess. I just wanted to give you guys some information on that.
So if you don't get anybody, you gotta reopen this up for more applications, or you got people that you're still considering?
Oh, there's people I'm still considering. There was one that was highly qualified coming from someplace else that had a parallel type job description, and the benefits that we offer just weren't competitive with where he was at now.
Yeah. Hopefully he's not looking at just the health insurance and looking at everything else we offer, because I don't know what he's doing. That's there again, we can't talk about that, but what's beyond just their health insurance or retirement, so things like that, or hopefully they're looking at all of that. What's not, I mean, I know health insurance is huge. I do know that. I paid my own premium, so I know how big it really is. But the other part of the package here is, I think we need to focus on that when we're trying to hire employees too. If they look at that long term, it is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it probably outweighs a little bit on that health insurance for your family if they really look long term. But
Sick time they can rack up. and
Yeah.
stuff
I
like
can give you this much information. The individual's kind of in the system already, just not locally.
Yep.
Well, and if it's a bigger county, we're not gonna
We
compare.
can't compare with them either, unfortunately. But I'm still like you, AJ. We need to figure something out. But it's got to be fair. I mean, it's got to be fair overall, and it's got to work into the budget.
oh, it's something we hear all the time, and we want. Not just new employees, our employees we have now. I mean, everybody wants cheaper insurance, and we want to give it to them, but it's beyond our control, and we're trying. I mean,
No, I get that. It's a challenge for us. I just wanted to,
Yeah.
if I'm losing a highly qualified person, I just want you guys to know the reasoning I was told. So
Yeah.
Okay.
But then there's some reason he was looking here too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and we talked about that too, and it's just, I'd like to tell you more, but I better not.
No, that's
It's
fine.
fine.
We get it. We,
Yep.
you know, but yeah, they wouldn't be applying. They're not just fishing around. There's something else is wrong. So
Yeah.
they gotta weigh all the factors themselves.
Mhm.
So,
Anybody else out there, department heads? Good thing Joel's on the road. Yeah. We'll move on to Supervisor Weekly Report.
I had a PAC 4 meeting, Zoom meeting, went good. Just transferring some funds, getting some other bids, RFPs coming in, so we're good on that.
Good.
we had our 20 county region workforce development. We continue to look for doing fiscal agents and all the steps we got to take yet. And we also had at the same day at noon, we had our original 7 county meeting. We have things there we're still cleaning up, and we're going to have to figure out when the old and the new, will merge and budgets and things like that. They're working on that, making sure everything works. So I had that going on, and then Friday I had a public health meeting, which we always go over. Jessica and her crew get rated. There's always surveys out there, and we continue to do well there, even though that a lot of those surveys are a little bit skewed by. And I'm not picking the people they sometimes survey or their clients, which are elderly and sometimes a little confused. But the reports come in good. We also talked about how and when and if, say, a vaccine comes out for this COVID and stuff, how that public health will play into that. And they will have a large role in that at that time. So, we're going to do that. The flu vaccines are coming, so they'll be coming here soon, and so that option will be there for the people that want it. So that's what I had.
Okay. I didn't have anything last week. I did just, like I said, I got a call from the DNR. We're just going to meet out at the development this week and just look over a stormwater detention permit. If you just want to do like a on-site visit, so we'll take care of that this week, and I think that's about it. Is he gonna jump on Zoom with us, or are we doing a phone with?
We got a separate phone Zoom so we can get out of this.
Okay, that's all I was asking.
Yep.
So we gotta,
So this, will that be? This is really, it won't be any action as far as
No.
county.
No,
This will be a
just-
separate,
No,
Yeah.
we're just.
so we can
talking
close this
again.
meeting out.
Yep.
Otherwise, it would just.
This is a
recess it.
discussion.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
so move.
I'll second it.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Shut it down.